Alexei, tell us something interesting. Okay, the Earth is flat.
News! Get your news here!
Alex, what's today's news?
Doesn't matter. It's all fake.
It's a pack of useless lies. Everything's a lie and that's a fact. Life is a lemon and I want my money back.
If the Earth were a globe with a curvature drop roughly equal to 8 inches per mile squared, and the surface of the Earth and its atmosphere allegedly rotated at approximately 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, as claimed by the globe model, you'd assume those claims would be vital to NASA and the military for modeling and building aircraft. Instead, you'll see through declassified documents that government agencies and their contractors repeatedly assumed a flat and stationary Earth. For example, this NASA document assumes a flat, non-rotating Earth. Georgia Institute of Technology, on behalf of NASA, the model used is a flat, non-rotating Earth. Technical memo from the NASA Langley Research Center, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Technical Memorandum, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA publication on the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model, flat, non-rotating Earth, and flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA contractor, flat, non-rotating Earth, and flat Earth assumptions. NASA Ames Research Center, non-rotating flat Earth. Army Research Laboratory, flat Earth. Army Research Laboratory, propagation of electromagnetic fields over a flat Earth. Army Research Laboratory, a flat Earth approximation provides the best estimate. NASA Technical Paper, stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Technical Memo, a non-rotating Earth. MIT Department of Aeronautics and Astronautics, flat Earth, flat Earth. NASA Memo, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Contractor Report, assumption based on the Earth is flat and non-rotating. NASA Technical Memo, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Technical Paper, stationary atmosphere and flat, non-rotating Earth assumptions. NASA Technical Note, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Langley Research Center, flat, non-rotating Earth. Army Research Laboratory, these equations assume a flat Earth. Even the Soviets made their assumptions based on a flat Earth. If the Earth were a ball and rotated at 1,000 miles per hour, you obviously would not see the repeated engineering assumptions that the Earth is flat and stationary.
Buzz Aldrin admits the moon landing was fake.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest? It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Circuit breaker.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen, so in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something.
Fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does, I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio and listened.
Talking about how many feet we're going to the left and right, and then I said contact light, engine stop, and a few other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah. This was. So, were you self-conscious about all the? I mean, the entire
Hello, my name is Gene Gilmore. My birth given name is Eugene Reuben Akers. I don't want any money for what I'm doing because hopefully this video won't come out until after my death. So I have nothing to gain, nothing to profit by telling you what I'm going to tell you. Okay, anyway, this is the story that my dad told me on his deathbed. Project Slam Dunk was the name of this. President Johnson in 1968, okay, in Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, he said by the time he got there, that there was already 2 large hangars that were connected. There was hundreds of dump trucks that came in and dumped sand and stone, and cement powder was powdered over the top of all that to make it look like a lunar landscape. They had men that fashioned it into a lunar landscape, he said. He said that in front of the airplane hangars was pole framing with large canvas tents that was concealing the inside of the staging area. Inside the staging area, on flatbed trucks, was created the lunar lander that was reassembled back inside the hangars. All of the walls were painted flat black, and the ceilings as well. He was sworn to secrecy by the NSA, and they would put him in prison for breaking that oath. When Dad saw the moon landing on TV, he cried. He said he knew that what he had witnessed on TV was exactly what they recorded in that hangar. Dad was one of 3 guards that guarded the inside of the front entrance. There was a list of 15 people who could enter. No one else was allowed by order of President Johnson. And here is that list, and I gave it to Bart SideBar as well. Anyway, President Johnson, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, Werner von Braun, Robert Emenegger, Gene Kranz, James Webb, Joe Kerwin, Dr. Thomas Paine, Glenn Looney, Dr. Christopher Kraft, Dr. James Van Allen, General Trudeau, Lieutenant Colonel Donald Simon, and Grant Norrie. I realized my dad wasn't lying. I lifted the lid off my dad's case, and you can see that his name is Cyrus Eugene Akers. He was born on July 17th, 1933. He died on September 28th, 2002. Here's his badge, and I wanted to see if I could get as close as possible so that you can read the numbers on the bottom, which are, okay, there it is. (07596) 07596. That's my dad. And it must have been a really early picture because he's only got 2 stripes, so that was back in the 50s, I'm sure. Probably not long after I was born.
Could go to space. They've been promising us this for years. We can just take a rocket and go to space, right? They are working on it as we speak.
In a year's time, in the last few months.
Early next year.
Very few months.
Sometime next year.
By the end of the year, we should be taking members of the public into space.
By the mid-2030s.
By 2020.
Early in the next decade.
Before 2023.
And by 2025.
Most certainly in our lifetime.
That's 2024.
We should have a permanently occupied human base on the moon and send people to Mars.
It's going to grow old if we don't start flying next year.
We'll return Americans to the moon for the first time since 1972, if you can believe that.
With our hopes of ever going to space continually burning to the ground, we're left with no other option but to take the pictures of Earth that NASA gives us.
I don't want to fool you here. Last month, for the first time since 1972, NASA released the Blue Marble, a single snapshot of the Earth taken from outer space.
NASA's Rob Simon made this, and it had wide appeal too. For example, it ended up as the default background on the iPhone.
I didn't even know until I bought an iPhone and turned it on and kind of did a little happy dance.
Simon's job is...
It's primarily taking data and making pictures out of it.
That's what this is, a composite of data sets from several different instruments translated into a picture.
A single snapshot of the Earth taken from outer space.
To us, the really cool thing was the data set. Up until that point, there was no realistic color map of the globe anywhere.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space. But I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it. It is photoshopped, but it has to be.
Distinguished scientists and astrophysicists, what do you think about when people say, look, this is not settled science, there are still questions?
Hey, what's up, Neil? I got like a super important question for you that I've been wondering like my whole life. Okay, is the world round or flat? Because if so, if the world is round, why isn't the water falling out into space?
Mikhail, you ask a very important question. This concept had eluded all of humanity for centuries. Everyone thought Earth was flat. Why? Because it looked flat. And they posed the same arguments you did. If it was round, stuff would fall off on the other side. You can't have people standing upside down on a round Earth. Here's the thing. We thought Earth was flat before we had sea-going vessels that went beyond the horizon, recognizing that there has to be a curve there, because the ship doesn't always stay in view. So Columbus, when he set sail, the ship eventually disappeared. And you can chase after him, and you can keep disappearing. You can keep doing this. This would count as evidence that Earth's surface was curved.
Okay, as you can see here with the naked eye, we can't see the boat. But watch what happens when we take a telescope or a camera with a good zoom lens. The boat comes right back into view. It didn't disappear over a curved body of water. It's right there, and it'll always be right there, with plenty of ocean right behind it. Now let's pan back out to our regular eye vision, and about right here, we can't see the boat anymore. It looks like it went over a body of curved water. Same thing right here. No boat. You can't see the boat. But watch what happens when we zoom in with the telescope. The boat comes right back into view, proving that the boat does not go over a body of curved water. This guy is lying to you. Science is lying to you. Now, this guy is a world-known physicist, and I just proved him wrong. You can think whatever you want to think, but I just showed you evidence. He's a liar.
We thought Earth was flat before we had sea-going vessels that went beyond the horizon, recognizing that there has to be a curve there.
Leo Enright from Irish Television. The unmanned spaceflight website has coordinates for the landing that go down to something like 5 decimal points. I just wanted to confirm with you that you do have those sort of coordinates. And am I reading those coordinates correctly when I see that it looks as though you've landed within 500 meters of the skirt around the mountain? That, I mean, you're really very close to the mountain at the closer end in the landing ellipse, and possibly within striking distance of the phyllosilicate trench.
I can't confirm that. My estimate, I'm looking for somebody, yes, there's somebody in the audience here who has that in the tip of their nose.
Proof we did not land on the moon.
This suit right here is the suit of Neil Armstrong, displayed for the first time in 50 years since the Apollo 11 moon landing. That is a picture of the first step man took on the moon. This is the same suit at a different angle where you can see the footprint of the boot that does not match whatsoever to the first step man apparently took. So for all my believers, make this make sense.
Strip going north.
But the wind is going like east to west?
Well, not the wind, the movement of the ground underneath you.
You're not, the ground isn't moving that much when you're traveling at the speed of, I mean, we landed about 143 knots, so that's quite fast. So I mean, the movement of the Earth it's not negligible. It's basically standing still as compared to our motion at that moment.
That's your experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they tell us, you know, that at least in the U.S., the ground's moving at about 700 miles an hour left to right. And I was thinking that's kind of odd if you're landing going north, you know, or moving in the north direction.
That's not, and that, yeah, no, the ground looks to us like it's standing still.
Yeah, not an issue, huh?
Yeah, no.
MIT, the Army Research Laboratory, flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Flat Earth with a flat Earth assumption. Non-rotating flat Earth. A flat, non-rotating Earth may be assumed. A flat and non-rotating, assuming a flat Earth. Flat, non-rotating Earth. A non-rotating Earth. Flat, non-rotating Earth. Validity of flat Earth based on a flat Earth assumption for a flat Earth and a flat atmosphere. Flat, non-rotating Earth. The flat Earth model. Propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. Ballistic vehicle motion. A closed-form solution is developed for the motion of a ballistic vehicle entering the atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth.
I'm going to tell you a crazy story, okay? But this is what they teach us in school, and this is what people believe if you believe you live on a planet. You believe that you live on a planet spinning faster than the speed of sound, 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So when you're watching the sunset, the sun's not going down, you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. While that's going on, you're orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. And somehow all of the other planets are doing the same, and they're all staying on the same plane. Like if this was the sun here, they're all going around on the same plane, right? They all stay level with each other somehow. None of them fade back. None of them go forward. They all like you're in a, like the sun is in a race and everyone catches up to the sun, but they're not going to go past it. They just run around the sun. Okay. Right. 66,600 miles an hour. And then the sun is traveling at over 500,000 miles per hour. And that entire thing is moving sideways at 1.2 or 5 million miles per hour, or whatever it is, somewhere over 1 million miles per hour. As we go out in the world every day, we observe it stationary, still, perfectly, you know, like you go out tonight and watch the stars, go out a year from now, same night, same time, the stars are in the exact same position. How is that possible when we're traveling billions and billions and billions of miles in 4 different directions? How do all the stars reset into the same exact place? Okay? Think about that for a second. So the Georgia Guidestones are in Georgia, state of Georgia in the USA here, and they showed up in, I think, 1981, a couple $100,000, and they basically have it's like Stonehenge, and there's 10 commandments in like 12 different languages or something like that. And one of them, besides they're basically the marching orders for the New World Order. Okay, one of them is don't let the population rise over 500 million again, the world population. Okay, but besides that, there's this little hole in one of them, right? And that little hole, if you look through it, you see Polaris, the North Star. Okay, right? Do a little time lapse, all the stars circle around.
Right.
Remember that diagram I showed you, whirling, twirling, and swirling, corkscrewing through space? Mm-hmm. How do you keep a star focused through that little thin hole?
Okay, yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's insanity.
Captain, someone wants to say hi. Is that okay?
Oh.
do you adjust for curvature when you get up to a certain altitude?
Well, yeah, when you see the sun coming up on the horizon, but I don't know if you will.
But the plane stays at an even pitch throughout the whole flight.
Yeah.
So I mean, not too much curvature to count for.
No.
More flat than anything.
Nope, you close your eyes, you won't have a clue.
True. More flat than anything?
What was that?
It's more flat than anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
My rock almost made it to the edge of the world!
The edge of what now?
The edge of the world, yo! Where the planet drops off!
Drops off? Wait, Beast Boy, you don't believe the Earth is round?
Mm-hmm. That's right. The Earth ain't round. It's a big old pancake! Your laughter only makes my belief stronger.
If you believe the Earth is a pancake, then what about the thousands of photos that clearly shows the Earth is round, like a basketball?
They's all fake.
Okay, if the Earth is a pancake, then how do we get both day and night?
Because the sun is like a spotlight, and it moves around shining on one place at a time.
Okay, crazy.
But if the Earth is a pancake, why does not the water spill off the edges?
Yeah, water would spill right off into space.
Ha ha ha! Explain that, Mr. Pancaked Earth!
2 words. Butter wall.
Butterwall? Seriously? A butter wall?
That's what I said, fool! There's a big old butter wall, and it circles the entire pancake Earth.
The butter wall keeps the water in.
Aha! Now you're catching on. You're beginning to see how reality really be.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to make a really quick video about some things that's bothering some of my close friends and some of my friends all over the world. And one of those things is, and they tell me, they're like, well, just because I believe in flat earth, my husband laughs at me and calls me crazy, or my wife laughs at me and calls me crazy, my mother, my father, my brother, my family thinks I'm crazy, and they laugh at me. And they say, what can I do? What can I do? Well, it's really, really simple. You just laugh back at them. Now, you know why? Because you have to remember this. You believe the earth is flat and that the earth is the center of the universe. They believe they evolved from monkeys and that they live on a spinning ball that magically holds all the oceans of the world to it and just continues to move about 600,000 miles an hour through infinite outer space. But yet, they see the same stars that you and I do every night of their life. We're traveling all this hundreds of thousand miles an hour through outer space, but yet you see the same stars and the same constellations every night. And it's been that way for thousands of years. For example, the pyramids in Egypt were built to the constellation of Orion, and still to this day, they line up with that constellation perfectly. After 5,000 years, they still line up perfectly. Now, for one, they would have never got these pyramids built if we were spinning, because they wouldn't have had the constellation to build to. It would have been constantly moving away from them. But now, like I said, you have to remember, these same people believe that they evolved from monkeys. Well, check this out. To evolve means to go from something less to something better. There's no in-between and there's no going back. So why are there monkeys still here? Are those the retarded ones that couldn't turn human? So what it basically boils down to is you believe what you see with your own eyes. These people that laugh at you, their whole belief system was taught to them on television. I mean, they believe in space, they believe in all this stuff because they've seen it on TV. They don't know, they ain't never been there themselves. They just take it upon faith that the scientists who tell them this is telling them the truth. So whenever they laugh at you, laugh back at them. Because what you believe, you can see. What they believe, they've been taught on television. And don't get me wrong, someday, if they can show me a monkey turning into a human and water sticking to a spinning ball that's moving 1,000 miles an hour, and then I might stop laughing at them. But
We all grew up in a world that everybody thought was a planet. We were taught that Earth was a planet among 7 other planets in a solar system orbiting the Sun. Let me challenge this. I looked into the etymology of the word planet. It isn't a good word. I have to say that after learning how this word has been used, I don't want to believe I live on a planet. In the Greek, the word is Strong's 4107 planets. This word planets is a masculine noun derived from Strong's 4105 planeo. Planeo means go astray, get off course, to deviate from the correct path, circuit, course, roaming into error, wandering, be misled. Planeo is the root of the English term, planet, wandering body. Here is what blueletterbible.org had on that word. To cause to stray, to lead astray, led aside from the right way. To go astray, wander, roam about. Metaph. To lead away from the truth, to lead into error, to deceive. To be led into error. To be led aside from the path of virtue, to go astray, sin. To sever or fall away from the truth. Of heretics. To be led away into error and sin. So it sounds to me like there might be something about those 7 planets that is evil and trying to mislead mankind. Have they caused us to go astray from the truth? I see that the 7 planets are not like the fixed stars are on their courses, and they move about going back and forth without a fixed course. It sounds like this word might be used to describe them because they have done something different than all the other stars and are not in obedience to God. They deviate from their appropriate course in order to mislead mankind on earth. I read about them in the book of Enoch. They are actually spirits of heaven. Angels. And they take those forms to defile mankind and lead them astray. This is starting to make more sense every day. I don't live on a planet. I live on Earth. There are no other places in the sky. The planets are in darkness, falling around the sun, and all the planets will fall into the abyss in the end. I am glad we don't have to go anywhere to get off the planet. Take a leap of faith and open your eyes and ears to the truth. It is a light shining in the darkness. The Earth is not a planet. We don't live on a planet. That is just a lie we all believed our whole lives. Don't be deceived. Thank you for listening and considering these things.
Beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it, and there was no water upon it, and no birds. But it was a waste and horrible place. I saw there 7 stars, like great burning mountains. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, "This place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And he was wroth with them, and bound them till